it's not like they got a lot of practice going to the offensive glass.
All right, here we go. Two of the hottest teams in the conference, and Trey Donaldson, what a role he has been on for Miami. 3 straight 20-point games, 5 straight games of 19 or more. The Hurricanes average nearly 88 points per game, and both these teams play really good defense, especially Clemson. Reneau tied up, shot clock down to 5. Drew Washington's going to have to put it up.
And that's a great snapshot of Clemson's defense right there. They want to really grind you in late into the clock, force you into a tough shot.
For Clemson offensively, it's been a different guy every night. They have 3 players averaging in double figures. Very balanced team. 7 different players have led them in scoring in games this year.
Yeah, you'd think they'd have a go-to guy or 2 in the scoring column, but really their highest score average is 12 a game.
Reneau just lost the handle in the Coast Conference in Brad Brownell. 307 wins, the most all time in Clemson basketball history. Yes, sir. That is Carter Welling.
And a guy who doesn't really shoot the 3 very well, 29%, but he got a great look. I mean, Miami's going to test him out there. Let's see if he continues.
Donaldson. Great box out there by Welling and company.
And that's what they have to do. Clemson has to get the first miss every time.
Here's Godfrey. He started his career here at Clemson, left for a season to go to Georgia, came back to Clemson for his senior year. That's a freshman body right there. Henderson lost the handle underneath. Boy, that Shelton Henderson goes 6'6", 240 pounds, 18 years old. Surprised he's not playing Monday night.
Well, different story this year. Much better results and much better heading into league play.
All right, they got the shot clock situation ironed out. He was sitting on 29, should have been 18. So Clemson with the ball. Tough shot, not going to go, and Miami with a rebound, still looking for its first point of the game. 0 for 3 so far from the field. This is what Clemson does to you. They force you to get deep in the shot clock, and there's a takeaway. And that will go down by Justin Porter.
Well, and, you know, I'm thinking, well, you're 1-on-2. You may want to wait for some friends, but he put his head down and went right to the rim.
Porter, 1,000-point scorer over the last 2 years at Middle Tennessee State. Brad Brownell told us yesterday he likes putting it up.
He plays with a motor that's revving always at 8,500 RPM.
Another miss for Miami, still scoreless, and we're 3:30 into this game. Oh, what a move that was. Wide open. Jake Wallin with a 3. Hurricanes 0 for 4. They've turned it over 3 times already. Donaldson will try and quiet things down a little for Miami.
Well, and if you have to get in and grind it half court against Clemson, you're going to be in for a long afternoon. No easy breaks so far for the Hurricanes.
Wide open look from the corner, and there we go. The first time Dante Allen, the freshman out of Miami, buries a 3.
Yeah, it's an interesting team, a mix of portal guys and then some really good freshmen underneath.
Godfrey Wall. Yeah, you look at the overhaul of both of these rosters. And we'll talk more about that when we come back. Good start for the top. You know, we're talking about both of these teams. Clemson lost 7 players to graduation, 6 in the portal. Miami lost every player it had. 0 returning players from a year ago. Donaldson. can't get it to fall.
And that's where Miami is going to score most of their points, in the paint area.
Godfrey working on Reneau. That's just muscle against muscle there.
No double team coming inside. Good deflection. Porter with very active.
Wide open. And Porter missed it. But a much needed rebound for Uday, who is third in the conference in that category, averaging 10 a game.
Well, his importance is he allows Reneau to play the power forward position rather than center.
That's a tough shot off the glass from a southpaw Reneau.
Thing for both teams, Tom, there's no real shot blocking out there. So if you get into the lane, you don't have to be looking around for rim protectors.
Yeah, like we saw at UVA last week. Man.
7-footer after 7-footer.
Yep, and averaging about 8-10 blocks a game. Second three for Carter Welling.
You know, what did Brad Brown tell us yesterday? He says, I don't know, someone's going to step up for us in each game, and this may be Welling's afternoon.
Well, he has 2 threes. He came in shooting just 29% from three-point land on the year. Reneau can shoot it, but too strong. And
you know, you can't lock in on one guy in the scouting report.
Davidson defending here. He had 21 in a row.
Yep.
Last game out against BC. Nice drive to the bucket by the freshman.
You know, Chuck Daly, coach of the Pistons back then, when a guy was hot like that, he kept going to him until he missed 2 shots in a row. Then he went somewhere else, but he rode that hot hand.
Backdoor cut and a rare rejection right there by Altutus. And then at the other end, offensive.
Davidson, a brave play to stand in against Reneau.
Well, here's a young man you're going to hear a lot about, number 21, Ace Buckner. He is a son of Clemson legend Greg Buckner back in the mid-1990s. And man, Ace is a player now. Very competitive, very aggressive. Jumper doesn't go for Davidson. Second three rattled in by Dante Allen.
Well, he has really given them a big lift for a team that was struggling offensively.
4-star recruit out of Miami's Montverde Academy.
He's coming off an 11-point game against Notre Dame, so maybe he's starting to feel a little bit rhythm offensively.
This game feels like it's been thoroughly dominated by the Tigers. Shot clock down to 3. Davidson along the baseline.
And they don't mind that offensively either, grinding the shot clock down and using up a bunch, making Miami defend. Late double team on Reneau. They're coming on the dribble when he puts it on the floor.
And then Allen penetrates. Good feed to Reneau under the basket, and he kisses it home. His second basket of the game.
You know, I told Jay Lucas, watching them play offensively, it looks like this group has been together a long time, with, you know, belying the fact that they're all new.
Godfrey will get his first breather, and Porter will get a breather. And a travel there on Malik. Buckner right back in. And this will be Clemson's story all day long. Guys in, guys out. And that'll go down.
On those 2 spots on the 4-5, you're in pretty good shape.
Henderson could not complete the three-point play. It is a 5-point lead for Clemson. Great feed. And the tip in.
Here's our guy, Mr. Welling.
He averages 10. He has 10. And we're 11 minutes into the game.
I wonder how long Miami's going to stay with this zone, because Clemson is scoring against it very easily.
Henderson, a rare three. And again, very few offensive rebounds, and that's the name of the game for Miami.
Especially with them shooting a low percentage in this game, Tom. But also, I mean, it's been very tough for them. I talked about getting into the paint. It's been tough.
You ain't playing.
Yep. And you know, the thing I loved about yesterday is that ball stay here. During practice on the bench, he would have guys come over and sit there, and he would talk to them in practice as if it were a game, communicating information.
Situations.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
Yep. Wide open Buckner. That is a 4-3 already in this game for the Clemson Tigers, a team that shoots just 33% on the year.
And Buckner 18%, so a guy that you're definitely going to challenge.
How about that defense? Goodness gracious, by 100% they miss, they get 40% of the offensive rebounds. That number's way down early on today.
Well, so far in the game, 33% shooting, only 25% of the offensive rebound. Those are great trends for the Tigers.
Reneau.
I'll tell you what, and if you can get him to settle for that shot, that's a win defensively.
Donaldson has still not scored in the game. And a rebound to Clemson after an offensive rebound during that set. Closing in on 7:11 to go here in the opening half.
Miami back to a man-to-man.
Godfrey lost his footing, nearly turned it over, able to get it to his buddy Hunter. And that's a bump by Washington. Coming back. I mean, he's front and center in everything they're trying to do. And a quick takeaway. Donaldson 1-on-2 and had it rejected by Davidson, but Henderson cleans up the mess.
Well, you can see it. Donaldson's starting to get a little hungry to score and get into this game offensively.
They go back to that zone.
Yep. A high-quality guy. I knew his dad. I know his dad really well. John texted back and forth with him last night.
Oh, my.
And you were talking about the size of Mr. Godfrey. There it was right there. No, but Jay, a really good pedigree, is really trained under some good coaches.
And 6 minutes to go in the opening half. Sold out here at Little John Coliseum in Clemson. That's a forced three, it looked like there, but another offensive rebound. This one by Reneau, and he sticks it back in. He has 6. One of 3 players. Only 3 have scored. Each of the 3 has 6.
Well, and now all of a sudden they're starting to get on the offensive glass, get second chance opportunities.
You have Reneau has 6, Henderson has 6, Allen with a couple of threes with 6. 6 different players have scored for the Tigers. Godfrey in traffic.
And Jay told us that he felt like being a coach with no track record, that's what he had to offer.
They talked about Coach Shire, his attention to detail.
Another young, relatively young head coach.
Well, great offensive set coming out of the timeout, but a rejection.
And the shot clock.
And then what do you have, 39?
Yeah.
Something like that against Carolina?
Yep.
Clemson has not scored in the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds. You made the point in the timeout. It feels like Clemson's dominated the game, but Miami's hanging in there.
Yeah, if you're just watching the action out there, it looks like the Tigers have dominated this.
Shot's got to go up. Shot clock down to 2, and here comes Donaldson, who still has not scored, and he's the Canes' leading scorer. Takeaway. How about that move? Oh, my goodness, it'll count. That is goaltending.
Just so very fast with the ball.
And Lucas rolling the dice a little bit here, bringing Reneau back for the final minute 40.
He looks statistically. You look at 2 foul participation, and he'll roll with it a little bit. Especially, you got Reneau, who's an older player, a guy a little more experienced. The freshman, you may not trust with that.
Yeah, Reneau 2 years at Indiana, played for Mike Woodson there. Woodson was fired by the Hoosiers, and Reneau here, great feed into Davidson. Boy, what a game it's been for Carter Welling.
And how about that unselfishness? Had a great look at a 3, but saw a better 2.
45 ticks remain until halftime. Reneau double team. That was very close to being an offensive foul. Well, while Lean starts the second half for Clemson, he has 2. There were only a total of 8 fouls called in the second half. They go right down away. The first 12 seconds of the half to go right after Reneau.
Yep. And, you got a guy who's playing well offensively, so you feel good about giving him that chance.
That is just excellent coaching by Brad Brownell. That's not a surprise. Left-hander, short.
Pretty good defense by Hunter that time, getting a hand up on the shot.
Porter lays it off for Godfrey. You know it's going up. And in.
Yeah, he's come back to that hook a couple times inside. It's going to be interesting, Tom. You talk about the lack of fouling. No team got into the bonus in that first half. See if free throw shooting becomes more of a factor in the second half.
That'd be a block.
That might have.
Uday did not score in the first half. He did have 8 rebounds. Here's Washington for 3, and that's back-to-back off the iron. Had good looks.
Yeah, and that was the first one a little, it was contested, but that is as good a look as he's gotten this afternoon.
Godfrey going to work on Reneau, trying to get his 4th.
Well, and it's interesting. I mean, no double team help coming down for Reneau with that foul issue, letting him play one-on-one.
Well, let's see if Donaldson puts it up here. Nope, going to lay it off. Henderson. Reneau for 3. Well, he's got a nice stroke.
And, it's funny. It's not a huge part of his game.
He shoots about 35%. Yeah. That's better than their team.
But, for most of those guys, I mean, they do their work. We talked about it inside the arc.
Godfrey had it blocked, and that's a jump ball, and possession arrow will give it to Miami. They're really trying to oscillate down around the basket here the first couple of minutes of this second half.
Yeah, but that time you've got a guy who's not in foul trouble in Uday who can be a more physical presence inside.
Here you have Donaldson, who averages 17 a game, and True Washington, who averages 13. Washington scored at the end of the opening half, and Henderson has been the guy for Miami today. He has 14.
He has really stepped up, and I love the fact he shoots a little floater there, doesn't bring the charge into play. Good hands by Reneau. Yeah.
There's 17 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, you're not going to, and that's what, with the change in the rule, and that's what they found, that you're going to sit on those, especially in a game like this, until the end.
Hunter left all alone and makes him pay. That's his first basket of the game. He averages 9. Boy, balanced scoring to say the least. 8 different players have scored in this game for Clemson. Only 4 different players have scored for Miami. Reneau into the paint, in and out. He was looking for a whistle.
And you know, you keep waiting in this game, I do, for Clemson to stretch that lead out. There's been an opportunity in the last couple minutes to get it to 15-16.
Here's a man of the day so far. Got his own rebound.
Well, there was nothing that Reneau could do. He was just standing there. He didn't want to pick up his 4th.
Has 14 points. He averages 10.
He's 1 rebound away from a double-double, too.
Good patience under the basket that time from Reneau.
Well, I talk about some heartbreak, though, up at Virginia Tech for some of the losses that they've suffered this year.
Unbelievable. The other night.
Yeah, Boopy Miller, the 3.
Reneau now with 10. He averages double that. And 11.
Clemson's bigs, they are really good passers, you know, especially when they're out on the floor, feeding the post or looking for each other.
You know, the other thing you brought up last week, and you and I were talking about it quite a bit. How about that move right there by the youngster?
Ace in the hole.
Well, we were talking about the bounce pass, you know, and Clemson really focuses on utilizing the bounce pass more than a lot of other teams I've seen.
Yeah, fewer hands in the way, much softer when it comes up, easier to catch. Offensive foul.
And that's number 4. This free throw there by Davidson, and the lead stays at 15.
Yep, missing on the front end of the one-on-one doesn't help the cause.
Reneau in and out. You know, you were starting to talk about how, you know, all 3 of those guys have been off. I imagine a tremendous amount of credit has to go to this great Clemson defense.
Absolutely, and the fact that they've kept this team in the half court and made it virtually every shot difficult.
Miami averages 87 points per game. And sitting
without fouling, and the Tigers have done that in this game.
The attention to defense by head coach Brad Brownell. And a 3 coming off the bench by Noam Dobrak.
Yeah, and Jay Lucas looking for somebody to generate some offense, and Dobrak, a very good 3-point shooter.
And then Dobrak gets his hand in there and takes it away.
Yep, good dig in. That's what you're going to see at the end of the game with him because of his free throw shooting. He steps up and knocks down a couple there.
Reneau on the floor. He has 4 fouls for the Hurricanes. We're under 8 minutes to go. And a 10-point lead for Clemson. And a turnover.
How about Dobrak? Second steal he's had in the game, and all of a sudden it's getting a little interesting.
Sure is. Donaldson, his second basket. Lead down to 8. 7:27 to go. Miami on a 9-0 run. They were on the verge of the knockout punch by the Tigers. But not so. Not yet. That's a